All right, welcome to Texans Unfiltered. We've got a special episode here tonight. This will end up being a part of our big pre-draft extravaganza. We've got one of the newer guys out on Texans Twitter, but he's been putting out a lot of great stuff. This is Texans Draft. He's going to sit down and kind of talk to me a little bit about what we expect with this year's draft, some of the prospects he likes. You can find him at HOU Texans Draft. And if you're not following him, go ahead and follow him. Look up at some of his Twitter threads, and you'll actually be very, very impressed. That's why we got him out here. So, Dylan, we'll get you to go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll just kind of go from there.
What's up, everyone? I'm Dylan. Obviously, you can find me at Hugh Texans Draft. I've always been a fan of the draft, so I'm excited I get to talk about it now. And my favorite team, Texans, of course. So I'm excited to be on here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, you're a little bit new to Texans Twitter, like I said.
Yep.
However, I started following you fairly recently, and again, very, very impressed with some of the stuff that you've put together so far.
Appreciate it, man.
Why don't you just say, especially because for somebody so young, why don't you kind of go over what has developed your ability to start scouting some of these guys and why we should pay attention to what you're saying?
Well, my ability to scout just came from I wouldn't call myself a professional by any stretch of the imagination, but I just started watching players cut ups and just started watching them over and over again. I usually watch 3 games of each player just to get an overview of their entire game. And I love if I like them, obviously I'll watch a little more of them, but I love watching football, and one of the main things is I love being right about a player. Like last year, I was really high on Max Crosby, and obviously he's been he had 10 sacks or something last season. So being right about a player is one of the best feelings, and that's always. I think that's what a lot of scouts are searching for, is they want to be right about a player. So I just love watching football and love learning about players, honestly, and seeing their journey from draft prospect to elite NFL player is really cool.
Okay. So, are you from a family of coaches? Are you?
No, actually.
Did you play ball? Did you just grab a couple of books, listen to a couple of podcasts?
Yeah, mainly my knowledge has come from just watching a lot of football. I've never played football actually ever, except flag football. That's it. And but I've just watched a lot of football. My dad's a huge Nebraska fan. We grew up going to a lot of games, watching a lot of Nebraska football, and it gradually turned into watching the NFL. Texans were the closest team. Decided to, because I'm from San Antonio, and that's where my love of football just blossomed. And in the recent, I used to be kind of a casual fan, but in the recent years, I'd say about 2016, I started hardcore in football, following the draft and everything. So I'm fairly new and still learning every day, obviously.
Okay. How many hours of film a week do you say you watch?
A lot, especially this time of year. And especially since there's not much better to do. I'm watching film pretty much all day nowadays. When I'm not, there's breaks I take because it can get exhausting. But film hours a week, probably 40.
Oh wow! So
yeah,
you're doing this as a full-time job.
Yeah, just because there's not much any better to do. Probably be a lot less if we weren't in quarantine, but still, I feel like I watch a lot.
Okay. Yeah, no, 40 hours that's a good amount. No, and it's a good year to get started in this, I would say.
Yeah.
With all the craziness of the world, to have extra time and kind of put things together.
This is one of the most unique drafts in recent memory. So it's going to be really interesting. We're a week out, so it's going to be really interesting. I don't know when this will air, but
yeah. It's going to air prior to the draft. I'm
Okay.
let everyone out there know. Again, this should be a part of our Texans Unfiltered pre-draft special. We'll kind of edit it down, and we'll just go from there. We might do. Well, actually, we're going to do a bunch more things, but we're going to put out a great big episode right before the draft. All right. So, how do you narrow down which prospects to watch? One of the reasons that I don't do as many breakdowns as I used to is just there's so many players out there. The Texans
Yeah.
never draft in the first round. You have no idea who's going to fall to the second round. I mean,
Yeah.
even last year, guys that I was like, oh, these will be sleepers. They'll be late round, sixth, seventh round picks. They end up going in the second or third round, and it's just like, why bother? So,
Yeah. There's a lot of
um,
surprises for sure. Yeah.
so how do you figure out who you're going to watch and who you're going to devote all this time to?
So when I first started this whole process, when I was first starting to study players, I would go through a lot of big boards and I would look at players that have similar body types to what the Texans like. Like I know we lost DJ Reader, so and I know it's probably going to be a priority to replace him in some form or fashion in the draft. So I was like, let's look at first when I was starting to study defensive linemen, I was like, let's look at players that were similar to DJ Reader and similar to Brandon Dunn. Even Brandon Dunn's kind of similar to DJ Reader. So that's how. And then obviously in other positions, I would do that as well. That's how I first started, and then after that, when I got through with all the similar body types to the Texans in my draft, I like the Draft Network's big board. I would go just down the Draft Network's big board and look through all those players, just go down each position of need and everything. And that's really how I would narrow it down and conduct my study. But I don't agree with the Draft Network's big board most of the time. I just like their layout of the website.
Yeah, okay. No, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So who do you think the Texans will target?
Okay, so I have a lot of players I think the Texans might target. I think a guy that I think is that they might target at 90. He's probably too rich for them at 40, even though I'm team trade down at 40. But it's Jordan Elliott out of Missouri.
Okay.
They've met with him and they've conducted a workout before the whole quarantine started. And Bill O'Brien has voiced he's voiced the need that he wants a three down interior defensive lineman who can rush the passer and run stuff. DJ Reader never really saw the field much on passing downs. So Jordan Elliott is a three down player. He rarely left the field at Missouri. He's got some potential at pass rush. He's got some run stuff ability. Only thing, like I like him. I think he has a lot of potential. He's pretty athletic, but he in college he got taken out of plays far too much in my opinion. Like he wasn't very good at shedding blocks. So if he can he wasn't very disruptive at all, as disruptive as I would have liked, but he's got some talent for sure that I think the Texans really like him due to his three down ability.
Okay. Who do you think they'll target at 40?
At 40, let's see. At 40, so as much as I would not like this pick, they've met with J.K. Dobbins twice. And he's right there at 40, most likely. I'm not sure if they're going to take him, but meeting with a player twice, being in his draft zone, I wouldn't like this pick, but it looks like they might be trending that way. I hope they don't. Of course, if Kenneth Murray's there, I think they take Kenneth Murray because they've also met with him twice. Kenneth Murray's a super athletic linebacker from Oklahoma, and but
So why
yeah,
would you be disappointed if they take Dobbins, but you'd be excited about Henry? Or wait,
Kenneth Murray.
I'm sorry, Murray.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Kenneth.
I was trying to figure out who you were talking about for a second. So yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
get into a little bit more detail why
yeah.
Dobbins would be so disappointing.
Like I, I love Dobbins, but at the way this league is going, it's just you can find value at running back in the fifth, sixth, and even seventh round. And especially since we just traded DeAndre Hopkins for a running back, I just and to spend that you got a running back in the trade, and then to spend that pick you also got in the trade on a running back. It's just a lot in my opinion, especially since we have David Johnson and Duke Johnson. The rookie running back at 40 would be the third string running back, which first string running backs aren't even that valuable in the grand scheme of things, like especially in this pass heavy league that we are in now. So I just think if they're going to draft a running back, I would rather it be in the fifth or the seventh round. Obviously, they don't have a sixth round pick, but Dobbins is a really good player, but I just don't think it's a valuable pick in my opinion.
Do you think Dobbins would be an upgrade over either David Johnson or Duke Johnson?
Uh, Immediately, I'm not sure. We don't know what David Johnson's really going to be for us yet. Like he's recovering from a lot of injuries. I know he was pretty productive before his injury last season, so I'm hopeful. But I think he would like you traded Hop for David Johnson. I think he sees the field a lot early. I think J.K. Dobbins would eventually probably be our running back one. Like Duke is, I think, still under contract, but he's a nice compliment to J.K. Dobbins. And I think we can let go David Johnson after this year, which wouldn't make any sense, but we can. So I think he could progress past them, but I'm not sure about early in the season. I think they'll want to give David Johnson a fair shot.
Okay. And Murray, why do you think he'd be the better pick? Especially since
Uh,
if we
yeah,
don't trade McKinney, if we keep BMAC, we are actually, I mean, we're pretty set at linebacker.
yeah, we are. We are. I've been I've been beating the drum over this whole draft process that I think we need kind of a linebacker safety hybrid to just kind of like we need a coverage linebacker for sure. Dylan Cole is pretty injury prone, and he's our best coverage linebacker by far. Cunningham's gotten better. BMAC's just not very good at it. It's not his specialty at all. I think that's just what he is. But Kenneth Murray, I saw he was adequate in coverage, and he's just super athletic, super rangy. Like he had 15 tackles for loss last season, which is a lot for a linebacker. And I don't know. I feel like right now the Texans are in best player available mode on defense, maybe. So if he's there at 40, I don't think they can pass him up, in my opinion, just because he offers a lot to a defense. Even though we do have Zach Cunningham, we do have BMAC, but he does offer another dimension because Zach Cunningham's pretty athletic, but he's not Kenneth Murray athletic. Like Kenneth Murray ran like a 4.45, I think, at like 230 pounds. Like he's like super athletic and super rangy. So I think if he's there, they do take in considering they have met with him twice already.
Okay. Um, well, now from your personal perspective, what player do you hope, not necessarily the Texans take, but that you hope is there at 40? It's like you're being completely selfish on this one. You can
Like
take any
hope is
player
there.
out
Like
there.
hope is my personal pick would probably be Josh Uche from Michigan.
Okay.
I I think edge rush is obvious. Pass rush is obviously a big need. I think we have a lot of power rushers. We have Minahu, Merciless, JJ Watt, obviously, and I think we need some speed rushers. Josh Uche is really fast off the snap. He's dropped in coverage as well, and has been looked to have been serviceable in coverage. So he's really quick off the snap. He's a really twitchy rusher, and I really like what he offers. Excuse me, what he offers to this football team. He has great bend off. He has great bend around linemen, and he's a really good. He's a really special pass rusher in my opinion. I think we could trade down probably 10 spots and still get him. Because I like the idea of trading down, maybe pick up an extra third or fourth. Uh, if there's not a player we absolutely love at 40, but he's a really good player that I would love to have on this team.
All right. Well, who is your favorite prospect that you think the Texans have no chance at, but you would give up the draft for him? Like you were just like, this is my guy. I'm gonna go get him.
Uh, See, that's what I like about this draft. There's not like about the fact that we have no first round pick. There's not really many like players that I like. Oh my god, I wish we had. I wish we had a first round pick so we could go get him. But Javon Kinlaw is pretty special, and I think he.
This is why I invited you on.
Yeah. You like Kinlaw too?
Dude, I went to South Carolina. If
Okay.
you ever listen to the show, whenever I can get a chance to bump Kenwall, that's my guy.
Oh yeah, Kinlaw is pretty special. He's athletic. Like he's athletic, super strong. I think he exactly what the Texans are looking for in the draft, but obviously he's probably going top 15, maybe even top 10. So
I'm not sure if it was on the happy hour or on the podcast last week, but I said I'd give up all of our picks this year to get Kenwall. I was like, that's it. We'll just go get him. So
just Kinlaw, yeah.
yeah, just Kenwall. Trade up. If he was falling towards like 18, 19, if I was GM of the Texans, it's not going to happen.
It'd be pretty tempting if he was in the mid-20s to trade up. I don't know. I don't even know if we have capital for it though. Like, I don't even know if a team would want all. Like, I don't even know. We don't have a first round pick. I don't.
Yeah, we don't have the capital. I've ran the scenarios, and I mean, at best, we've got to hope that he doesn't just get caught smoking a joint. He needs to get caught with like a pound of weed.
Let's send him some weed. What do you think? What do you think?
Actually, I mean, that's not a bad plan. No. Let's see. Well, who's a sleeper prospect that everybody should pay more attention to?
He has been getting a lot of attention, but I like Derek Tuska from North Dakota State, edge rusher. He's pretty fast off the snap too. I like him. Super productive. He had like 29 sacks like in 2 seasons. His last 2 seasons, and he's been getting a lot of looks recently, a lot of hype on Twitter. So I think who knows what the NFL views him at, but I think you should definitely pay attention to him. I think I've tweeted about him a couple times, but he would be a quality addition to the pass rush in the later rounds. If not, I would take him at 90 if he's there. Honestly, he's really. Yeah. I don't think the NFL views him like that, but like personally, he has 3rd round grade in my book.
Okay. No, yeah. He on our happy hour, that was actually my sleeper pick. So yeah. Maybe this is why I really appreciate your Twitter, because we like the same players.
Yeah.
So who knows? I might say something. My wife also, her family's like boosters for NDSU. So
really?
I get to watch those guys.
Okay.
Because I have to watch way too much NDSU football. But he was the guy. He stood out. If you go out there and he looked like the best player on the field by far. It was similar to how
100%. Like there was just like you could tell he was the NFL guy on that defense.
Yeah, like, and there was NFL guys on the defense. There was a linebacker that I believe plays for the Jaguars now. I'm blanking on his name. And last year, when Tuska was a junior and this guy was a senior, Tuska still looked like the better player. And this guy, I mean, he's in the NFL. Shoot, what is his name?
I think I know who you're talking about. I'm blanking on his name too, though. I think I remember.
Sorry, I'm actually gonna look him up because it's gonna kill me.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick DeLuca.
Yeah. That name is definitely familiar from. I don't think I was familiar with him pre-draft, but definitely when we played the Jags.
But no, he was a good player, but Tuska's much better.
Yeah.
And
Tuska's been super underrated for a while. He's just starting to get some buzz. Like I remember, you could get him in the 7th in a lot of the mock draft simulators you want to do. Now you can't get him in the 5th, so he's rising in mock draft simulators at least.
Yeah, he may just fall because of nobody really getting to do the in-person workouts, but you never know. He's one of those guys you gotta watch out for. Who's the guy? If the Texans pick him up, you are gonna flip the table over because you can't believe they just wasted that draft pick.
I want Terrell Lewis. I don't like at all. I think he's super raw, and I think he just doesn't offer much. but they have met with him, so I think it's possible that um, he might be the pick at 40. I don't know what they're going to do at 40. I think this is a year where we have no clue what they're going to do. Like last year, we knew they were going to pick a cornerback and an offensive line. This year, we don't. I really have no clue what they're going to do with their first pick. So Terrell Lewis is one of the guys I would not like. I don't think they're Jonathan Taylor. I would not like Jonathan Taylor at all either. Just
Really?
because, yeah,
Jonathan Taylor, low key, had one of the better like college seasons ever for a running back.
yeah, but it just goes back to the fact I think he's less athletic than Dobbins, and
But Dobbins is smaller.
really, well, yeah,
Dobbins doesn't hit the 220 bent or the 220.
yeah. Jonathan Taylor's definitely the better power back for sure, but I think Dobbins is more athletic in my opinion. Just better top end speed, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be happy with either of them, so it's a moot point. But anyways, Jonathan Taylor, Terrell Lewis. Not much else, honestly. I'm pretty open this year. I like a lot of players they're looking at, like so I'm pretty open, and I know a lot of us have got given Bill a lot of grief over the years, but I think he's doing pretty well this offseason. Besides the return for the DeAndre Hopkins trade, I like the way the offense is looking. So he built a really good offense that on paper looks good. So I think we got to give him a little. I'm giving him a little faith in him right now to build a good defense as well. So hopefully he doesn't. He'll probably slap me in the face and be like, You should not have put faith in me." But right now, I have a little bit of faith in him.
Okay.
So I'm
Well,
pretty.
you're gonna be GM for the draft night. What is your plan? Not necessarily who you're gonna draft, but what would your plan go in it?
I think my plan is become faster on defense. I think he became faster on offense. I think he want like defense speed kills on defense too. So I want a speed rusher. I want a super fast defensive back, Amik Robertson. I know that's one of your guys too. So that's my plan on draft night. I just want to become faster, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to become better in the drafts for sure.
All right. And well, this last little bit, I'm gonna let you tear up my guys.
Okay.
Um, I'm a big fan of Delpit. Like he's actually who I go to bed every night praying drops. If we pick him up, it kills the dream of bringing Eric Reed to the Texans. And part
Yeah,
of me would just love to see Eric Reed and Justin Reed.
that'd be pretty cool. But
That'd be fun, but
Eric Reed had a pretty bad year according to PFF. I don't buy into PFF that much, but apparently he was second to last graded safety,
really,
which is pretty crazy to me. So I'm not sure, but
I
I
mean,
didn't
he
watch him
also
much.
set the season record for the Panthers in tackles this past year.
Interesting.
So
Over
I
recently,
don't know how that meshes. I mean, PFF, if you take it with a grain of
it
salt,
it's
it's a starting
stupid.
spot.
So it's a starting spot for like yeah, exactly. I used to be like I didn't used to be like a PFF like truther, but I used to like go there quite often and see what a player was valued at, I guess. But now you really can't. It's so stupid. Like I think Watson was like the 20th rated quarterback on their scale last year, which is like ridiculous. So it's just like, and that's like one example of many for a bunch of guys across the league. Their system's pretty broken, but I just thought it was interesting that Eric Reed was second to last among safeties, which is weird.
Well, I mean, even at this stage in his career, if Eric Reed is a oh shoot, why am I forgetting? He's essentially a more athletic version of Joseph a Day. Like even if that's where he's at,
Mm,
I mean, that's still an improvement over last year. And
yeah,
selfishly, I think it would be cool.
it would
But
be pretty cool. I was pretty shocked when I heard O'Brien call safety a need, considering
really,
we have four safety like we have two starting caliber safeties, and Jalen Watkins and Eric Murray seem to be pretty quality depth pieces. Like obviously, it'd be nice to have one more safety, but I wouldn't call it a priority. So I thought I was pretty shocked. Might be a
I
smith.
actually would put. I'm one of those believers that strong safety play makes your corners look better.
Mm.
And if you have strong safety play and your corners look better, it makes your
Yeah,
pass rush look better. Like
it,
I
yeah,
just
it's
believe
big.
it's kind of they're all interlocking. Like you've got to have some sort of juice up the middle, which we absolutely had nothing of. But
Yeah, maybe he
if we
thinks.
got another if we got another safety that just has the ability to kind of go in and add to our coverage.
Yeah,
I,
which I like Delpit a lot for that. I mean, he's got pretty good instincts too. I like him in run support as well, which our safeties don't do a lot of.
oh,
So that would be a welcome addition at 40 for me too. I like Delpit a lot.
well, if they trade BMAC, I would almost think that you need somebody like Delpit that can cover and take care of the run.
True.
If that if that's if there's truth, there's a little bit of truth to that rumor. But if that actually happens,
If
like
we
that's
get rid
part
of
of the
Vina,
reason why we don't rely on our safeties to help in the run as much because both Zach Cunningham and BMAC are so good.
exactly, and we need Justin Reed and Tashawn Gibson and all the rest of them to cover because our linebackers are not good at it.
All right, so Grant Delpit, you don't think I'm an idiot? All right,
I
we'll
like
live
I
with
like Delpit. I mean,
that.
a lot of his I think it's his only knock is he missed a lot of tackles, which I mean it's not ideal for a safety, but apparently I don't know. I felt like it was a little overblown. He didn't seem to miss. He takes. I like. I still think his range is really good and his instincts are really solid. So I would still be happy with the pick.
All right. Another guy that I kind of hope that may actually fall now because of his diluted sample is Zach Bond.
Mm,
Um, I can't tell what we're gonna do with the edge.
yeah.
I'm a little bit confused. I think that we've spent significant amount of capital between Amenahu, Ejiofor, and Martin, Jacob Martin, to put together at least a rotation on the
Yep.
edge, and of course we resign Whitney Merciless.
Yep.
However, I still think that they could use another kind of game breaker out there.
I agree. I don't think it's a big need. I just don't think it's like end of the world type need though. Like people I've seen people like I don't know. Our defense wasn't great last year. I feel like a lot of that had to do with excuse me, coaching. Like Romeo Cornell's scheme sometimes made zero sense. He was in love with prevent defense, which is makes the defense look bad all the time. But I think we definitely do need an edge rusher early. I would like Bond. He's kind of like a middle linebacker edge rusher type hybrid. So I don't know if Bond's the game breaker you were looking for, but he would add a lot of value to the team as well. But like guys like Josh Uche, Jonathan Greenard, Bradley, and I all speed rushers that would add a lot um, to our pass rush for sure. Because like I said earlier, we do have a lot of power rushers, not a lot of speed rushers. Jacob Martin's the only one, and he doesn't see a lot of the snaps because
He doesn't hold up in the run game.
yeah, exactly. So I would like Josh Uche. I would really like because he can be the Jacob Martin type, but he also drops in coverage and he also is pretty solid in the run game. So that's why I really like Josh Uche. Zach Bond, I would not mind. I'm not his biggest fan, but I wouldn't hate the pick at all because he does do a lot of things on defense and he would help the defense for sure, in my opinion.
Okay. How much am I a homer for loving Brian Edwards?
You're not a homer at all. I love Brian Edwards. Like he was like one of my top picks for wide receiver before the Cooks trade, obviously. Like I love Brian Edwards. I don't know if you've seen, but I posted probably 2 or 3 times about him. Do you watch a lot of South Carolina games?
I'm an alumni. That's where I went.
So
So yeah,
yeah. So you see that double move against Georgia? That's one of my favorite routes of all the um
yeah.
yeah, all the like he sold that like that DB had no chance, and like it was such a smooth route. So and he's pretty athletic with the ball in his hands. So I wouldn't like used him in the screen game a lot. So I like
He's
him.
he's a big bully.
Yeah.
However, I would say his biggest downfall is sort of similar to like Julio Jones. Like every time you turn around, he's limping or he's making his way to the sideline
Because he's
because he
so
gets
physical.
because he
Yeah.
gets beat up, and then
Yeah.
he's right back out there. Like he never misses really misses multiple
Yeah,
plays, but that'd
yeah.
be the
I
other play. And
yeah.
then what really sold me on him, even though he didn't play a lot of slot at South Carolina, he did take a lot of screen passes. I think 33% of
Mhm.
his yards or something ridiculous
Yeah, it was a lot.
was
It was a lot. Yeah.
was off screens. But the idea of moving him to slot as a big slot, similar to Michael Thomas,
Mm,
somebody pointed that out to me, and I was like, that makes way too much sense.
it does make a lot of sense. However, I think they might have drafted Waring for that position last year because Waring is a guy that he's not a good blocker at all, like point
Yeah.
blank straight. So like if he's gonna see the field, it's gonna be a big slot. So like maybe that's how they see him, but who knows what they're gonna do with him? He might get cut, even like if they don't like his injury history. So
All right. Well, that was pretty much everything that I had. We did get a couple of small questions, so put them up on the screen. Can you see that?
okay, yeah, I see that. Damon Arnett could come in with Conley and Roby both being Damon Arnett's one of my favorite players
So,
in this draft. I've
just
been
so this is on a podcast, I'm going to read it out loud real quick.
oh, okay.
Texans 47 asks, Damon Arnett could come in with Connolly and Roby, and both being from Ohio State could help. What do you think about that?
It might help, but I think Damon Arnett would help regardless. He's a player that I like. He's super physical, off the line of scrimmage, in press coverage, uses the sideline as a defender very well. Um, I think he's a really talented corner, and he's one like when we had 2 second-round picks, it made a lot more sense. I don't know if corner is that high of a priority anymore for them because Bill O'Brien did say he's excited about the secondary this season, so he might. It might not be a priority, so he might be a little too rich for us. But I would love Arnett to be on this team for sure.
And then Tyler Dre said, if we draft GK, we've got to trade Duke Johnson.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. I don't think we have to trade him, considering Duke and David Johnson aren't really going to be used much as power guys. A lot of them, both of them are going to be used a lot in the passing game. A lot of screen passes. I think we're finally going to utilize the screen pass, which we underutilized for so many years. So I'm not sure if we necessarily have to trade him, but if we do draft JK, I don't think we have. I don't think Duke or one of them doesn't have a long-term future here for sure.
Okay. And then just last one, because I agree with Texans 47. Brian Edwards can be an MT Cologne. I assume
Yeah,
he's talking about Michael Thomas. I like that idea.
another guy I think is really similar to Michael Thomas is Michael Pittman. I don't know if you've seen him a lot, but he reminds me like he's really big. He's like 6'4", 6'5", and like runs like a 4.5, which is like 500ths faster than Michael Thomas ran. He has a similar movement, so I think that's another Michael Thomas clone.
All right. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for coming on here. Do you got anything else that you would like to share or talk about?
One thing I wanted to share, a couple more players. The Texans have met with Logan Stenberg, interior offensive lineman from Kentucky, and I think that's an underrated talking point of this draft. The Texans might go interior offensive lineman early, in my opinion. Try to get that young core of an offensive line complete, like right guard's last position. I know we don't want Zach Fulton much longer. But like Logan Stenberg is really solid. He's really powerful in the run game, really powerful off the line of scrimmage. And I think if we draft him, he can have a Max Sharping type year in for us. In my opinion, like I think he's super solid. So we have met with him. Seems like there's a lot of interest there from the Texans, maybe at 90. So I like him a lot.
All right, that'd be a solid pick. There is a little bit
Yeah,
of a rumor that they're looking to upgrade on Fulton.
yeah. And Fulton, like he's not great, and he makes like 8 million a year. So
Yeah,
it's a no brainer to try to move on from him.
it's kind of funny because 2 years ago he was our best offensive lineman.
Yes, he
It's
was.
amazing how things change and how quickly. But you want to get James blood boiling. Start talking smack about Fulton.
Oh, James likes Fulton.
He does. That's his guy.
You can tell James I'm still waiting back. I'm still waiting for a follow back from him. All right.
All right. You got anything else?
One more player I just want to highlight. I've highlighted him a lot on my Twitter. Lucky Fotu from Utah.
Okay.
He's the most natural DJ Reader replacement if they want to draft like a natural DJ Reader. Like he's like 6'5", 340. So, and he's super solid in the run game. So, and they've met with him. So it's if they like him, I think, and he's there when they like his value. I think you could definitely see them drafting him. I like him a lot personally. He's the most
Okay.
natural DJ Reader replacement in the class. If you want to get a Reader replacement.
Um, from before we get to this question, my comment on him is I like him, but he seemed more natural. He does seem like a natural nose tackle, but not quite as athletic as Reader. So it wouldn't be a one-to-one
Yeah,
replacement,
definitely not.
similar to what
Yeah,
we already got with Dunn. But I could be
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
Um, last question, he kind of snuck it in before we closed up. Do you have confidence in our CB group as of right now? This is Big Cop 300.
I have a decent amount of confidence. It could be better, but I think Conley he had a rough start with us, but I saw some tweet that uh he had the 20th best passer rating against him in the last 7 weeks of the season, which is really good for a corner. And Roby, I've been a Roby fan since he came in Houston. He was locked down before his injury. Like I remember we went to Kansas City in week 6, and they didn't throw his way for the whole first half. So, and that's saying something considering how potent Casey's offense is. But I think if we were to upgrade at corner, it would be in the nickel position. Vernon Hargreaves is on a 1 year deal, and he wasn't he when he did come over, he didn't exactly light it up. So I think our guy Meek Robertson could be a solid option. I think he's a versatile DB that could help our defense in a lot of ways. So if we were to upgrade, it'd probably be a nickel. It's more wishful thinking that we draft an outside corner. I don't think we do, considering the needs on the defensive line. So
Well, Bill O'Brien has talked about the importance of having a nickel corner. I believe they call it the star position. It might
yeah,
get might be
yeah, yeah,
might be confusing my terms, but he had talked about it at length. How important that is to their defense, and when they have confidence in that
yeah.
position, it makes a
And,
huge
and
difference.
they have met with Robertson. And I think Robertson has a lot of potential to even be a good safety. I think he's really good tackler. He's really good in space, and like I really like him a lot. He's one of my favorite players of the class. So he would be a good nickel and a good versatile guy. Like I hate using this comparison, but kind of like Tyrann Mathieu, but like just a guy who can do a lot for the defense. So that's another name to keep an eye on, and Meek Robertson.
Yeah, that's probably why they brought in. Probably why they have kind of spent the money that they have on the safety corner hybrids, but I can
Yeah,
definitely see them looking to improve that position specifically in
yeah,
the
especially
draft.
since I think we have an out on Gibson after this year, so I don't know if he hasn't. I thought he played pretty well up until his injury, but they do have an out, so maybe they're looking for his eventual replacement. Who knows?
Oh, maybe. Let's
They did
see.
just pay Eric Murray $9 million a year, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into. I don't know. They must see something in Murray and what he can do. Again,
I
it's
will
all about that slot position, being able to both cover and to play the run.
I will say like Bill O'Brien has restored some of my faith, but some the signings he made in free agency itself are not good.
No.
Randall Cobb for 9 million a year, Eric Murray for 9 million a year is pathetic. Like that is bad. So
Well, Cobb, I can kind of understand. He low key actually had a great year last year.
he had a good year. He's gonna be a good slot receiver for us, but he's not worth 9 million a year. And I'm a you'll see in my bio. I love Kiki. I love Kiki QT. I still believe in Kiki QT. I still have dreams about the Kiki QT game in Indianapolis in 2018. Uh, I love Kiki QT. So I'm hoping he can have a role in the offense next year in some form or fashion. But
Yeah,
if
we're right
anything,
there.
I've been beating the drum on Kiki QT because we have lacked a gadget guy so long, like kind of like Curtis Samuel or Debo Samuel, and I think we're starting to run some jet sweeps and end arounds with Kiki, and then they just stopped using him. So I hope maybe, and that unlocks a lot of the deep stuff too. If you have to worry about a jet sweep and then you have to worry about Cobb in the slot and then Darren Fells, like Fullers and Cooks and Stills are gonna
Well, that's
He,
actually a lot of the value of Cooks.
yeah.
He's not. We talked about it on our show right after the trade this past week, and don't forget about Cooks is more of a gadget player. He's a guy that can slide over to safe or to slot. He's a guy. I believe he was
Yeah,
still
for sure.
fourth in rushing yards by a wide receiver last year.
Oh, really?
So
I did not know
yeah,
that.
so you've got Fuller and Stills that are both traditional deep threats, whereas
Really
Cooks
good ones
is
at
kind
that.
of a more of a he's a gadget player that can also be a deep threat. He's
Okay.
closer to Tavon Austin, but he can actually run routes. He's
Yeah.
closer to the Debo Samuels. I mean,
I think we need a gadget player. Like it really unlocks the deep ball for sure. And it's like there's two things in this offense that have been grossly underutilized in the past years: screen pass and the jet sweep. Like
yeah,
I can count on one hand on a jet sweeps we ran, and when we did run them, we ran them with Kenny Stills, and they were never effective.
right.
So
Which is a role
uh,
that I think Cooks is gonna because
yeah,
that two
or
years
two,
ago when we
two,
had
two, two.
Kiki when he did well,
Yeah,
and Bruce Ellington before he always got hurt. Those were the types of things
yeah,
that kind of play towards Deshaun's ball handling skills. Like that's one of the things that they've kind of really gotten away since Deshaun's rookie year, is you almost forget at how good he is at selling the play action, selling those jet sweeps, just
yeah.
literally ball handling skills like it's a basketball player.
hmm hmm He's yeah.
But I can go
We
down
could
those
have a whole
rant. I can
episode
rant
about
about that all night.
exactly. I was about to say we have a whole episode about Deshaun.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? We do an annual Watson cast, so maybe we'll invite you back for that.
Sounds good to
All
me already.
right. Well, Dylan, let's
Uh,
let's close it up. Tell us where we
mhm.
can find you. If you got anything you wanna shout out, and
Yeah, just make sure to drop me a follow at HOU Texans Draft. And I might be starting my own podcast soon. Maybe we'll have you on, John. But like, I hope to continue to grow, and I hope to continue to provide great content for the um, the Texans. And if there's anything you guys want me to do over the summer, I know that content can get kind of dry, so just let me know because I've been brainstorming ideas what I'm going to do over the summer because I want to continue to grow. So shoot me a DM if you want, if there's anything you want me to do.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Summer's the hard. This year especially is gonna be tough.
yeah, because there's no OTAs or anything.
So as always, we over at Texans Unfiltered, we know how lacking coverage is for the Texans. So we always want
Yeah,
to shout out and give people a platform. One of our original goals when we started this was anybody that had something to say that's at least a little bit either entertaining or informative would give them a platform. And again, uh, that's what we're here for. So thank you so much.
awesome. Thank you.
This is John for Texans Unfiltered. Of course, you can always find us wherever you find your podcast. Follow us at Houston FB Pod. James is normal host. He's still there. Young Ari Gold. Always hit him up. And then until next time. There we go.
Uh,
All right, man.